There you have it, the News 12 Long Island question of the day. Have you or anyone you know ever been harassed on the web? See the response there. Yes, 28%, no, 72%. Interesting numbers there. Welcome back here to Long Island Talks, right here on News 12 Long Island. I'm Judy Martin. Cyberbullying, that is our subject tonight. And with us to talk about it is Ronnie Benson, expert on bullying, and Mike Filsaime, an authority on marketing and social networking. In the break, we were just talking about this idea of how the parents can monitor the kids and what they need to do. And you had mentioned some kids have 2 Facebook accounts.
Right, because some parents are savvy enough to know that they can open up their own account so they can check what their child is doing, but a child has a second account that the parent doesn't know about. And then parents say, oh, well, I have software filters on. And kids can figure out a way out of them. They can go to a friend's house. But we say the best filters between your kids' ears. Talk to your kids. And using the internet is a privilege. And give them the rules ahead of time. And if they abuse the privilege, guess what? You take them offline if parents have the courage to do that.
And sometimes they may not even the parents might not even have the knowledge to know to ask the right questions.
And that's irresponsible parenting, because you have to have a working knowledge if your child is online.
Right, but Mike, I mean, there's something new every day on the internet. How do you possibly keep up?
Well,
and the kids seem to know more than a lot of us do.
Yeah, so ignorance isn't really an excuse. The parents have to look into this thing, and they have to know what the consequences are. And it's important to explain to the children what the consequences are to these things, rather than just don't do this and because I said so and things like that. They need to maybe point out certain studies or certain things that are happening in the news and say, see what happened, this led to this, and let them know what the consequences are. I would definitely recommend getting involved in more than just the filters on Internet Explorer. Get some software, limit some things for the children, but they definitely have to educate the children and let them know. In my company, when people send us, we put an ad out. And we receive resumes, and I take the name and the town, and I put it into MySpace and to Facebook, and I see the people that I'm looking for. A receptionist sitting there with Jack Daniels and cigarettes in their hands, and and I'm like right there.
That is a great. Everyone should tape the segment and just play what you just said, because that's a very good example.
Yeah, and just like that, you can get that information.
Yeah, kids do some wild stuff on MySpace, and we all know that we pressed send a little too quickly, even on a typical email.
And the kids have to be taught they have a word for etiquette. The same rules that apply in the real world apply in the world of cyberspace. So something you wouldn't have the courage to say face to face, and suddenly you're full of bravado to post it online and post it for everyone to see. It's cruel.
Allegedly.
It's cruel and it's hurtful. And 160,000 children each day are staying home from school because fear of bullying. So that's reported cases. So cyberbullying is an unknown area, and our New York State does not have a law against it. In Canada, I know they have a law against it. A bunch of girls that drove this girl to commit suicide from cyberbullying were brought up on charges. Very difficult here.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more of that, I think, from that Missouri case. Oh, we've got a phone call right now. We have Tina from West Hempstead. Tina, are you with us tonight?
I'm here.
Hi, Tina, what's your comment? Thanks for joining us.
My comment is that the most important thing is that parents are not educated. And they need to be educated and go to the resources that are all over Long Island that can educate themselves first. Because parents today do not know where their kids are on the Internet. And the controls and everything, the kids are smarter than the parents. And the problem today is the schools do not have enough programs to educate these parents. It should be mandatory for parents to be educated by the school system from middle grade, from 6th grade on, because the kids are smarter than the parents. And when you put these resources out there for parents, they don't come because they're out. They're not home, and they're not teaching their kids.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your comments here tonight, Tina. We have sex ed, we have other things, driving.
Right, but the program should start in kindergarten.
Well, is this an extracurricular program, or is this something that you think is going to be part of the school
system?
I
think it is mandated, and it is mandated in the Department of Education that every school should have rules, regulations, and bring in programs, but then you have to pay for them. But we've gone into schools all over the country. We start in kindergarten, we go up to 6th grade. Starting in middle school is almost too late.
Right, and wouldn't you say that too, Mike? Because, these kids are, I've got a niece who's 4 years old who's already playing
webcams.
Without a doubt.
It's
a paradigm. In the past it was, telephone and, TV and print and things like that. Now the internet, it's a whole new game. So the states are looking, and there will definitely have to be legislation on laws for the internet and things like that.
Do you think that affects you in business?
Oh yes, you know, one of the things we tell our employees, whether or not it's at the help desk or any communication, even any communication that you have with an email with somebody, you always have to say before you hit that send button, you have to know that whatever I put in this email can be archived on the internet. Somebody can get upset with you and say, look at the support that I got from XYZ company, posted into a public forum. And there have been companies that, you know, it shows up in number 2, number 3 in Google sometimes, and it can hurt you.
Yeah, it certainly can. And what were you saying?
Well, the other thing is, you know, the whole advent of the internet and this whole generation growing up with is only 10% of communication are the words. So there's no body language, there's no sarcasm, there's no eye contact, and they very often can send a message that they didn't mean it to be received in the way it's being received. But kids, this generation of kids is considered meaner, much less respectful to each other, to their parents, to their teachers, and parents are completely intimidated by their kids. And I agree with the first caller, it's up to the schools, because a kid who's being harassed or bullied in school, it isn't up to that child to be able to handle it.
Okay, and your website is bullyfrog.com, and Michael, your website?
Marketingline.com.
Okay, great. We're going to come back again, but for now, more information on tonight's show, news12.com. You're watching Long Island Talks. Welcome back here to Long Island Talks right here on News 12 Long Island, talking about cyberbullying tonight, and there is a lot more to talk about. Let's just take a look at what happened over the last couple of weeks with the Craigslist, the alleged Craigslist killer. It has brought a lot of attention to Craigslist. How dangerous is Craigslist, yes or no, for children to be involved in that? Is there any kind of age limit? What is to stop a child from going on Craigslist?
Craigslist can be extremely dangerous if you're not aware of certain downfalls to it. There's no account that's needed to set up an account with Craigslist. You don't have to.
So they don't check the age?
No, anybody could. You know, they may opt in and say yes, I'm over 18, but you know that button can be clicked, you know, by anyone. Yeah. There's no verification process, even of an email address that you know that makes you confirm an email that you're using. So anyone can go in, create an email account in 30 seconds with either Yahoo or Gmail, create a posting on Craigslist, put a fake picture, ask anyone to meet anybody anywhere, and then that person may never show up again. And it could be hard to trace if that person did it from a public library. So, and
you don't even need a lot of computer savviness to do that.
That's right.
Really.
Yeah. So
it's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah. So it's important that people are at least aware of that. I certainly don't want to say Craigslist is dangerous, but people do need to be aware that they can be maybe possibly dealing with someone that is not who they're saying they are and has a different agenda.
Okay. And final words here, Ryan.
Well, I just think that parenting should be including, if every parent tells a child not to talk to a stranger in the street, I think that no child should be speaking to a stranger online, full stop. If you collect baseball cards and you say, well, I only talk to other kids who collect baseball cards, well, clearly a pedophile can pretend to be whoever you want them to be.
So it's you can't talk to anyone you don't know, don't talk meet with anyone.
Don't be mean and vicious online. Yeah. But parents have to talk more to the kids. They spend so little time with the kids, and the kids are in front of the computer, and kids have been desensitized to violence from the video games, and everything's back again.
So once again, parents monitoring what your kid is doing, whether it's Facebook, which seems somewhat innocuous, but really it's not. Thank you very much for joining us, Ronnie Benson and Mike Filsaime. Once again, great topic tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Judy Martin. Stay tuned. Colleen McVeigh up next with your live Long Island News.